Well, hello everybody. I'm hoping that you are keeping warm in the UK at the moment. It is absolutely freezing, frost all the way, snow in certain areas, and all kinds of weather conditions that I suppose are fitting for the season, but you would probably like to be a bit warmer. So I'm hoping you got a cup of tea, a cup of coffee, maybe a hot chocolate, and you're sat somewhere nice and warm, able to enjoy this content tonight. So my name's Danny, and you're watching King's Chambers Piano Rooms Conversation, a place where we get guests on to talk about worship, ministry, life, family, and a whole host of other things, all wrapped up with faith and some great music as well. So tonight's guest is a guy called Sam Palmer. He's been a friend for many years now, and we've done quite a lot together as well within the realm of worship, different events, and part of the same church network as well. And he's just so awesome. I think you're going to really love the content he's going to bring, because he is just fascinating actually to listen to, especially when you get him start talking about arrangements and music and all that kind of stuff. So we'll get into some of that in a bit, but I'm just going to bring him on. Actually, I think that'd probably be a good thing to do. So we're going to enter into the piano room right now with my special guest, Sam Palmer. Here we go. And here he is. How you doing, Sam?
Good, mate. Very good.
Did you like the little Christmas jingle there? Just making it a bit Christmassy?
I love that little deck the halls variation.
Deck the halls variation. Absolutely. Well, it's the Christmas series of Piano Rooms Conversations, and we've had a wealth of guests on. And actually, I'm really excited to have you on today, actually, because it's like I said in the little preamble there, I think people are going to be really, really interested, because I think the way that you think about music is a completely different level to me, because I'm very three chord wonder, but then you come out with phrases sometimes that I just go, I haven't even got a clue even where to start with those kind of stuff. So you've obviously got a real big wealth of knowledge inside you. So we'll kind of get onto that maybe a bit later on in the thing. But let's go back to your kind of your family and your upbringing, and what did that look like in the early years?
Yeah, great. So, yeah, I'm from Southwest Wales originally, right on the coast, right at the bottom. Uh, yeah, so I grew up in church all my life. All my family we went to the same church where my mum and dad were in leadership there. So it was a evangelical church, a free evangelical, and yeah, went there from when I was born till I turned 18 and left, um, and so church for us growing up uh, took up a lot of what we did. Um, we grew up with, and the relationships that I still have today, which was fantastic. Going through from you'd help out in little toddler groups to then you'd be part of kids, and then you'd be in the youth, but you'd help with the kids, and yeah. And then for me, joining the worship group there from I think I must have been 11.
Wow.
So pretty young. And joining the worship group there, 11, where I was also playing trumpet as well. So a little bit different. Yeah, our worship group had, yeah, trumpets, flutes, violins,
So
cello.
was trumpet your first instrument then?
Yeah, yeah. So I started playing trumpet when I was 7. And yeah, that's what I did in terms of sung worship all the way through my teen years, really, and then even when I first moved away. Um, so yeah, so life was good growing up. I had a lot of close family, all grown up around the same area, and certainly had that like strong grounding Me and you have spoken about that in other conversations of um, songs that we grew up with, and um, those traditional elements of how church was done, and things this day stay with us and are really important to us. And so having that growing up was really, really special. And certainly then being in Wales as well, so I had a bit of a strong sort of choral side and sang in a load of different Welsh choirs from about the age of 6.
I mean, with the thing with your voice, because I mean, what people may or may not know, you literally do have an insane vocal. So some of the notes that you get now, I think you said you're what, 34? Did you say? So how high were you singing before your voice broke? You must have been like, whoa!
Yeah, my granddad used to say to take me to and from secondary school. I remember one day going home in the car. Why didn't we get any good recordings when you could sing? And I was like, I can still sing now, Grandad. He's like, no, it's not the same. No, you could really sing. Um, so yeah, it was classic high soprano boy parts.
So do you think then, because you're an absolute lover of harmony, and you like to an absolute, you're very in a good way, very particularly, very kind of like on it, and it's kind of got to be a certain way. So you said you were in lots of choirs and things. Is that where the love for that started? Do you think?
Yeah, potentially. Yeah, yeah. I was certain choirs I remember. Like I was singing in um, certain youth choirs from I was probably 8 or 9. Um, but like wide, and then did ones that were bigger than that as well. So every week we'd rehearse, and from that age, in a church, and there'd be 50, 60 kids, um, all in a 3 or 4 part. And yeah, just that, I guess, growing up with that, you learn your part. Someone else had learned something different to you. Here's how it sounds when they come together, and how powerful that is, and how sweet that can sound, and how that can really elevate what you're doing. Um, as much as one voice can sound great, but those sort of intricate little details that can happen when you've got lots of voices coming together is what's can be so special. So
And I don't think young people today kind of get those same opportunities, do they? Or it doesn't seem, in the age of the bedroom musician kind of self-taught, which is great. I'm very much self-taught in what I do, but I don't know of any, like, say, for choirs of young people sort of locally to me, of that kind of ilk, where you would get that kind of oneness, that kind of togetherness, the training, the whole corporateness of what takes place. It's a very different kind of feel, sort of young people in music, kind of these days. Do you think?
yeah, yeah, I think so. And again, it probably depends where you are. Um, I think naturally, I even just talking to people that still live where I grew up, naturally there's still a big choral tradition, and um, like my granddad was, well, still is in a male voice choir. Was from when I was a young boy, still is today. That's what he does to socialize, and they do tours and things with it. And I guess even opportunities like that, like he sang at rugby matches and done all sorts of stuff. But it's that joy of bringing together, and they realize it's important. And whether that, no matter what age you were at, that for me growing up was something that was just very, very normal. But I guess that would depend. Obviously, to grow up, even when I was growing up, somewhat completely different, and that wouldn't be the norm. Um, so yeah, it's probably one of those things that, looking back, you took for granted slightly in a way of, oh yeah, well this is completely ordinary, and this is what life's like. But this is what everyone's doing or have the option to do, or not do. And I guess only when you get older, isn't it, you meet people and realize, do you know what, actually that was different, or that was
Yeah.
special.
So, sort of grown up through school. So you you said you're on the worship team. What, at age 11? Did you say? So if you were kind of let's word it, say if you were that intense, I'm assuming obviously committed, Christian at that even at that age of 11 and stuff. So walking through your school life, because was that difficult to live out that faith, and what were there issues there? Were you able to be quite open about it, or was it secret? Because I know for me, till the very pretty much the very end of my school, actually, not many people knew that I went to church, let alone kind of sing in in certain places as well. So what was school like? Yeah, sort of growing up with all that kind of, I suppose, calling on your life and living out your faith at such a young age.
Mm. Yeah, it was a balance, I think, to be honest, because the church that I grew up in and went to as well, it wasn't local to where we lived as such. Um, so it's not like, for example, it was in our local town, and people I went to school with could just happen to come in, or our youth things we did and whatever else. It was very separate from that point of view. Saying that there were some young people that did hear about the church that I'd go to and even came along at certain points. Other people that then eventually came along and made commitments and then became a part of the church themselves. And so there's a whole, but it was quite separate in a way for day to day living in school. I guess it helped having older sisters and older siblings. So one of my sisters was still in school when I was in started school, and and I think she was part of the people that had set up a really strong sort of Christian union in the school and what they were doing, and everyone knew that and teachers knew that. So for me, starting school was very easy. People knowing that was my sister
Mm.
to already feel part of something, and people just knew. Um, oh, and you go to church, and oh, and that's what you do. Oh, but you don't do that. Like, for example, you don't swear, or you don't like join in with that sort of thing. And that it wasn't like you have to have those awkward conversations or have those conversations. It was like oh yeah, we know that.
Yeah.
That's a bit of a given sort of thing. So I think I was pretty blessed in a way to walk into that situation um, at the start of sort of going through secondary school. Um, and really, school has its different challenges, doesn't it, and ups and downs. And but yeah, for me, like music and school were were big things, and music for me was that big thing of yeah. The plus side of having all the siblings is they're great. The downside is you follow in their footsteps, and
Yeah, yeah.
me following in my sister's footsteps, who worked very hard and got extremely good grades, just whatever else. Um, I was always compared, but music was where I actually trumped them. They were still very good musicians. Um, Both of them were competent on different instruments and um, in the school bands and got to a high level, but um, I was better, to be honest. So it was that thing.
Well, when I was at school, they tried to stick me into a orchestra, which at the time, for right or wrong reasons or whatever it was, I decided I didn't want to do that. So because they pushed, I kind of pushed back. So I kind of wasn't the best in the music lesson, shall we say? And you wouldn't get away with it now, but I've got it in my office on a plaque, and it's screwed to the wall, so I can't get it down. But it basically stated when I left school that Danny doesn't have a musical bone in his body, and they were the actual words that were used. Um, Now, when you get words spoken like that over you, it can do one or two things. It can either completely crush you and destroy any chance of moving forward, or it can kind of make you go, "Ugh." And for some reason I would say it kind of did both. Actually, I think the first initial reaction was like, well, oh. That's it. But the next reaction was, well, I'll show you. And then within a year of leaving school, I was back in the school on their rickety old grand piano, banging out. Do you know Carmen?
Mm.
Yeah, so I was banging out a Carmen tune on this rickety old piano with the said teacher that said I did have a musical bone in my body stood at the back, and it was like I was like, oh no no no, like yeah, I'm singing it you, yeah, I'm singing it, I'm singing it. But how important is affirmation, appropriate affirmation, as it were, within the building of young people within our settings? Because both you in your church setting and in my church setting, I think we would both have a similar heart where we're feeding into that next generation and bringing them forward and actually giving opportunity to be able to do all kinds of things that actually is massive to be doing at that kind of age. But what's affirmation and encouraging and correcting actually in those things? What does that play? How does that play a role? Do you think in the young people that I know you work in a school as well?
Yeah, it's absolutely huge. It is, and I'll keep this short. We could have done a whole series on this one thing, to be honest. But it's that idea of, um, you want somebody to always enough of the potential that's locked in them to run after it, but not too much that they trip over it. It's that
Yeah,
idea
yeah,
of I capture too much of a glimpse of people constantly saying you're the best, you're so good, you're way better than me than when I was that age, and that. And a lot of times people say that sort of language wanting to be encouraging and trying to affirm, but obviously that's also got a danger of oh, well, I've already made it, or the element of complacency. And it is a fine balance. And ultimately, when it comes to music, whether you're young or old or any age, everyone's still, same within in your Christian walk, isn't it? Everyone's still learning, everyone's still growing, everyone's still got room and space to grow. And every day there's a bit of a choice to make that next step of growth. And really, so for me, affirming words are great within music, and to build that potential and to build that bridge of you can do this. And but a lot of it is obviously if you keep working you can do this.
yeah.
The heart don't want to hear, but in music that is all it is. If I told you the number of hours I've spent on my own in a room, um like making music, practicing, um just when I was studying in college alone, I was doing, you're talking up to 50 odd hours a week on my own in a practice room. That doesn't include rehearsals, that doesn't
Right.
include lectures, that's just me disciplined, needing to improve, needing to work on things. Um, and it's that fine balance then of, I want someone around me to be able to put their arm around me and go, yeah, you've got this. And, this is what you can do and you can get
Yeah,
there. And at the same time, but you're not there yet. And for me, I always remember now the church I grew up in, but there was, playing trumpet is never the most subtle instrument. Um,
no,
and he's starting off, and I remember worship group I had. There was a pastor's son. Actually. He played trumpet as well, and he was at grade 8. He was at a great level, and we had years of playing together. But there's that like Christmas time of when you pull out all the classic carols, and they've got death camps galore, and we always did the bits of death camp part. But I remember sort of that first year of him playing the death camp, and me being like, yeah, he's told me I'm great, I can do this, and you realise, yeah, I can't do this. Um, him going like beforehand, actually, I'll play it. You ignore me. You just stay on the tune, or you do this, and because that's needed too. And it's not saying out of a place of I'm squashing you. It's saying out of a place of because you're not ready yet.
mm,
So it's a hard thing, but equally for me, any musical growth, and the best thing, certainly with young people, whether it's in a worship setting, any musical setting, is the more you improve the most and you learn the most when you are around people with experience and around people
Absolutely.
uh, with a love for learning and that are ahead of you. And I always want to be in circles and around and playing with people who are still ahead of me and are still a step above. And it's a famous jazz bass player actually called Victor Wooten. He's got a whole philosophy based on that. Of when you learn to speak, you learn to talk as a baby. Your parents don't exclude you from conversations. You learn
Mm.
to speak by them trying to talk to you, and you have no idea what they're saying. You're making sounds, and then you might say an odd word, and as your time goes by, but they don't stop, do they?
No.
But you hear the thing, and you pick up on that, and you start using that language. You start saying that word, and it's just that lovely picture. It's the same with music, and oh, you're not ready yet. You know, you need to earn your stripes. You
Mm.
need 5 years on. You need to learn all these songs in the Mission Praise or whatever catalog of
Oh, there you go,
songs.
mission praise. Well,
And you need to do this, and that can obviously some people work, but for most it can be really deflating.
mm.
And actually, it's changed. What you're with us, and let's play this together. And yeah, it can go wrong. Yeah, it probably will, but we're still going to play it with you. And
Absolutely.
learning in that is so rewarding for any young person or any musician that's coming through and still developing and growing in what
Yeah.
they're doing.
Cool. I tell you what, let's take a mini break. We're going to listen to a track that I did in lockdown, actually, a Christmas ago. So We Fall Down. This is Chris Tomlin cover. We'll be back after this for our next section. We fall down, we lay our crowns at the feet of Jesus. The greatness of mercy and love at the feet. Oh, come on, we cry holy, and we cry holy, holy, and we cry holy, 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 and we cry holy, holy, holy is the Lord. We fall down, we lay our crowns at the feet of Jesus. The greatness of mercy and love at the feet of Jesus, and we cry holy, 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 and we cry holy, 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 and we cry holy, holy, holy is the Lord. We fall down, we say, we fall down, we lay our crowns at the feet of Jesus. The greatness of mercy and love at the feet. Come on, let's cry it out, holy. And we cry holy, holy, holy. And we cry holy, holy, holy. And we cry holy, holy, holy. Ah, there we go. You deserve the glory, and we fall down. So we're back in the space with Sam Palmer on the Christmas edition of the Piano Rooms conversation. Now, Sam, what I've been doing with our guests, with it being Christmas, is, and to be fair, most of the guests this time round are actually worship leaders. And I think if a worship leader is worth its salt in gold, they should be able to recognise lyrics and songs. So what I've got, and I've been testing everybody, is my Bible of Carols, Songs of Fellowship. I got this from Mission Worship a few years ago in the bargain bucket for about £3.50. But it's the best Christmas book I have ever bought for like simplified carols to be able to start from. So I've got a series of lyrics. And what I want from you, Mr. Palmer, is the title of the carol. Now, we've had some that have absolutely smashed it, and then others that have not even got one. So I think it might have something to do with age, potentially. That might sound a bit like, but I think there's a heritage thing. You know, if they've only been singing carols for like, say, 18 years as opposed to like 35 years or 40 years, that might be different. But let's see how you fare. So your first one is Wing Your Flight Over All the Earth. What carol is that?
That is Angels from the Realms of Glory.
Boom, that's number one. Right, your next one is Stood Hard as Iron.
How hard is iron?
Stood Hard as Iron.
Trying to pick up your phrase in there, but there's nothing.
In the bleak midwinter, Earth stood hard as I. See, I'm doing it out of context, you see, on purpose. If I gave you like the full line from the beginning, it would be too easy. Right, so bright, round, young virgin.
Because your gut wants to go Silent Night, but
Go with your gut.
you going, yeah.
Yeah, Silent Night, Holy Night, all is calm, all is well. Round, young virgin, mother and child. Right, here we go. Let's see if you get this one. When they are both full grown.
Holly and the Ivy.
Yes, yes. I tell you what, you're stonking it. This one. Here we go. The angel of the Lord came down. Come on.
And Glory shone around.
Yeah, but what's the title of the song?
Oh man.
Da, 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 da. No?
Wild Shepherds.
That's it! Yeah, well, you got there. Right. And then we'll go for The Angel Did Say. You're not doing bad, to be fair. You're like one off the leader.
Oh, he says now.
Yeah, you've still got a few to go, but you're one off the lead at the moment. The angel did say.
I feel like there could be too many. The First Noel.
The first Noel you got there, fantastic, yeah. Right, so the last two, here we go. Above thy deep and dreamless sleep.
It's not the Irish. I can finish the last line.
It's got several different tunes and people have contemporized it, but it's in its that's in its purest first state, I think.
Above.
Above thy deep and dreamless sleep.
Oh, I'm gonna kick myself. I'll say once in Royal, but it's not.
Oh, little town of Bethlehem. Ah. And your last one is Winter Snow, Born for Us on Earth.
Winter Snow.
Born for Us on Earth. Just need like a tick of time down there.
You're learning.
Winter
Uh,
Snow, Born for Us on Earth.
oh, I've gone blank again.
See
Uh,
amid the winter snow, born for us on earth below. See amid the winter snow. Well, you didn't do too bad. I can't reveal the results too much, just in case these go out of sync. But currently on the leaderboard, you are second. So you've not done bad. You've done well. You can be proud of your attempts at the Christmas carols.
it's classic game show.
Classic game show. I just need to add the
Father.
sound effects. If we so jumping back in, so we've done the school. You went to university, and I'm assuming well, I'm saying that I'm assuming you did. But if you did you go and study music?
Yeah. So yeah, I went to university to uh, music conservatoire and studied 4 years. Uh, officially specialised in jazz, um, but in there, there's also difference of compositional writing and harmony and um, other bits and pieces as well. So I certainly did.
And where did you go to university then? Were you away from home, or were you managed to do it from home?
No, no, no. So I was, what was it in the end? Almost 3 hours away. Um,
Wowzers!
yeah. Well, now I live, almost 7 hours. So make
Well, that makes me really thankful because my Ella's only an hour and a bit away because she's only at Sheffield. So, so 3 hours. That would have been a bit of a trek.
yeah, with no quick visits.
So,
But
so let's develop that. So you were at university then and involved in Christian unions and local churches, did you? And jump in. So were you involved in the worship team there, leading there, doing different things there? What kind of things were you getting up to while at university?
yeah, so yeah, there was a Christian union, the conservatory I was at, um, which wasn't massive. I mean, to put it into perspective, there was only 50 people on my entire course for every year. So there's only 12 of us in my year group for my
Well,
course. Um, so it's fairly small, selective. Um, so the place wasn't massive, so it meant the Christian Union wasn't that massive, but a nice group of people. I did some bits with the university as well that was nearby. Um, and yeah, then in church, the local church I was involved in, still playing trumpet and part of serving on team that way. Um, didn't actually, formally what we'd call like lead anything, and I wasn't singing. Um, and again, like the church there was really blessed with a lot of the whether it was uni students or the conservatoire students going. So they essentially almost had like an orchestra every week. Quite bizarre if you look at it like that. Um, like full like written parts and whatever else that you have to stick to, and which was good, and it was just, I guess, quite normal transition from what I was doing growing up, um, and fairly still along the same sort of lines and traditional views, and um, so yeah, so I stayed there, yeah, for the whole time.
I think there's an interesting thing about like uni, because and I know my Ella's just gone off to uni as well, and so when you think about the when you think about a worship sort of family, as I call it, rather than team, because I prefer that as a phrase and a thought process. People come from all different kinds of walks and lives and experiences, and then they come together and sort of work together and create something really beautiful. But one of the things that I've kind of antidotally picked up with it comes to Christian unions, you've got the added thing there of multiple denominational people from different, church representations all coming together in a melting pot, and many of them at the start of the journey of, worship, for instance. So they're coming away from home. They may have had experience, they may not have had experience, because I've seen it on all fronts. But they're all then coming together, effectively as strangers to begin with all those different things, as well as a different expression of church, and then having to try and cobble something together to make it cohesive, to grow together and to develop together into a worship family, to be able to serve the community of the university they go forward. And I think certainly now, having some experience, beginning to get kind of my kind of access, if you like, to university and understanding certain things, it must be a really difficult place again for young people to, I suppose, grow and find a stability within a worship kind of setting as they go through that process. Certainly within the first year, I would say.
Yeah, yeah, and I think certainly if you go into whether it's finding a new church or um, people go to the union of the university you're at, um, go in with very much a expectation of, oh, it's gonna be like this, or gonna be like what I loved at home, or style of worship's gonna be the same, or they're gonna do that particular um, worship leader that I like, and all that sort of stuff. So uh, expectations, then quite frankly, you're gonna be potentially easily and quickly disappointed, aren't you? And I think obviously there's a high danger in that of, okay, now this isn't what I wanted, expected, thought it was going to be like, so I'm not going to go back. Or I'm not going to, I might go to a few social things, but I might not get involved as much. And so the biggest thing really is, to step back, which is really hard, certainly if you're, young and go to step back and think, okay, I know it's going to be different, but that doesn't mean it's wrong. That doesn't mean it's not for me. That doesn't mean it's not where I'm meant to. It is going to be different, though. Of course, it's going to be different. You've moved out, you're on your own, and loads of other factors. But yeah, certainly, then you have to then, if you have that mindset, I found it helps in that environment and setting of getting to know different people, having conversations with people without thinking and instantly just assuming we're completely on the same page with everything. Um, and then one day realizing you're not and going, oh no, what am I going to do? Like, you don't need to put that level of pressure around expectation. Uh, Simply, you like growing with people, and there's so much that in that setting that you can learn and that people can offer you, and the support they can give you. Certainly, the ones that are obviously older in those settings as well that have done that before and been there for. And so it can be really, really encouraging. And so anyone that may even listen or pick up this, yeah, I'd encourage you to do that, even if you've started uni now and it's been a bit of a challenge of, I don't really feel like I fit in with the other Christians that are around me and in the uni I'm at. Stick at it, and it's not a case of going. I turned up once and they did happy day, so I left. You know, we'd all potentially rush to those decisions, but actually the level of that support and conversation you can have with people who have walked the same road and have been there, even if you end up somewhere different, that's fine. But just take that time to process what's going on and all the changes that have taken place, and to still sort of see the gold.
Yeah, I think that's really good advice. I mean, one of the things I certainly went on a journey not too long ago. Actually, it took me quite ages to kind of like figure it out really. But I think there is so much when I was like thinking through going, well, within that CU, there's somebody that might be from a Baptist, there might be some Methodist, there might be from C of E, there might be Pentecostal, whatever it might be. There's so much that you can learn from each other, because I think in many ways within each expression they're always top heavy on something. There's always something you can learn. So excuse me. So for me, I'm a Pentecostal, so I like to clap hands, and a lot of what we do, whether we realize it or not, is very experiential. So, but if you put that aside, say, as someone from a Church of England, where it's really quite liturgical, and actually what they do is they're physically engaging their mind in worship, which is where I think as a Pentecostal I potentially fall down. To that extent, so I'm like, let's have an experience. Let's get all nice. And these are, and the Church COV are going, well, let's sort of engage our mind in our worship. Actually, they're both right in their streams, and how healthy would it be if as Christians we can sort of come together with those two aspects. So I remember sitting in a session once where there was somebody, a clergyman from the Church of England, and he was doing something with the labyrinth. So it's almost like a journey. So some churches actually have it on the ground, and you physically walk around this path, and there's different things that you do and kind of different stuff that you look at, and you engage your mind. And I've got to say that by the end of it I was completely shattered, because I had to engage my mind, but completely exhilarated, because there was a new level of worship that was released in me in embracing their aspect side of it, to be able to like engage my mind within worship. And so I actively now, when I come across these different kind of melting pots and talking to people, it's very easy to go, yeah, well, I'm Pentecostal, I don't agree with that. But actually, as you sit down and you talk through these things, and you discover these things, and you embrace certain things from all those different streams, I think over the years, it just makes you such much more healthier Christian, healthier in your faith, and it's only good, really. I think, and if I look at my own ministry now, probably as a result of beginning to shift and kind of go, do you know what? I'm not just Pentecostal in a sense, but I'm a believer, and there's lots of stuff that we get on with, and there's lots of stuff we agree on, and there's lots of stuff that we can do together. So I was looking, and I'm probably in at least 7 or 8 now, ministering in 7 or 8 different church kind of expressions, and quite comfortable in those arenas, and them comfortable with me. But I think that journey started as a result of embracing those conversations within those kind of early days of meeting, well, Christians, really. That's never the word to kind of give it, really. We're all serving God, but we all may have slightly different nuances. So yeah, so that's just an aside for you, that, Sam, really. But I just think that those kind of things, if you can pick up on them really young, and you take that into your ministry setting, quite early on, then you're going to be in really good stead to develop quite nicely, really.
Yeah, yeah, it's great.
So when did you leave? When did you leave your university?
Ooh, um, 20. I'm getting my dates wrong here. 2010.
Okay. That's not too long ago in the scheme of things. I suppose
Yeah.
it's getting on, but it's not too. So so you're a teacher now. Is that what
Hmm.
you, in a sense, when you were doing your music, was that what you were aiming for, or is that like a happy sort of coincidence that you've kind of gone into teaching, or where did that sit in the scheme of your forward process of thinking as you were doing your music course?
Um, yeah, honestly, it wasn't.
Well, I thought that's why I
it's
asked it, because I thought that would be the case.
it for me. I was all set. Moved to London. Um, just do full time music stuff. And then what's this? What they say? You meet a beautiful girl and your world changes. So it's
Yeah.
um yeah, long distance dating my now wife, and so I finished uni. She was still at uni, and it was if we're serious and might make this work. She was like, I happen to be in Lincoln, and I was like, well, I'm going to London, so and then yeah, I was like, you know what? Okay, fine. I'll give it a go. I'll come to Lincoln, see what happens. I'll do a year of. I'll train to be a teacher for the year, and it's another, something else done. Um, and we'll see. And yeah, that's 2011, and we're still here. So it must have gone okay.
It must have gone okay. So we're kind of clocking on the timeline. So we're going to kind of try and bring it into land. And I know that you have a heart of sort of being very kind of bringing being in community, not just obviously local church wise, but kind of more wider than that as well, kind of encouraging and sort of maybe writing together and different things like that. But I mean, if you're able, kind of, do you want to share maybe something of your heart on that? Because I mean, I sit and listen to you for hours, and I'm just going, yeah, agree with that, mate. Yeah, agree with that. I agree with that. Right, what we're going to do about those things. So, kind of, if you kind of just speak your heart really on those kind of issues that you're feeling that you can at this stage, and you know what, we might inspire some people to think similar, and maybe get something happening.
Yeah. So I mean, there's a few different things, a few different strands of what I'm really passionate about. One is, actually people growing in confidence in their gifting and being able to use their gifting that they've got. And there's so much out there with that nowadays that it's really easy to get lost and confused. Um, and and equally, I knew it from when I was growing up. And as I said at the start, I was so blessed to have so many people around me that had already been there and were so supportive. And I think if I didn't have that, though, how different might things look?
Hmm.
My relationship with God, but also, musically, what I'm passionate about and what I'm able to do now and sung worship, and it'll be completely different. So I'm really passionate about doing that, and have the privilege of doing that in a load of different places with different people. And me and you have done some stuff based on that as well, teaching people, um, but also just so passionate to see, I guess, sung worship across the whole of the UK come alive again, to put it nicely. I think, if going back to what I grew up on, and that we both grew up on and spoken about lots before, of the traditional hymn writers and the staple of hymns that were so inspirational and yet musically brilliant and challenging. It was so gifted, and I think we live very much in a time now where it's very easy to give a song that's popular, a quick Google, and to take four chords off it and to
Mm,
put it into the perfect suits us best, and then to off we go. And it may or may not work for us. It may or may not work for our congregations, um, but we think that's what we should be doing, and that's what the whole world's doing, and you
mm,
know. But actually, for me, there's always that question of is that is that what's best for whether that's your congregation and for the season that you're in as a church? Is that what's best for um, our sound and us as a people in the UK? Does that sum us up well? Does
mm.
that really tell our story of who God is and all that He's doing and how on the move taking place? Does it really tell that? And I think there's lots of great stuff that is the case for. It is true, but there's also other things that isn't the case for, and yet it's very easy to take a quick, easy road and pull something out that people can join in with, and they'll get them to sing along to. And it's so tempting to do that. Being a worship pastor, it really is. And so for me, I've got a real heart of wanting to see this area of people across the country feeling more confident in their gifting and their calling, and being able to come together and to create songs that, in essence, by God and are musically well rounded and make sense, uh, but also capture the heart of what God's doing across this country, across denominations, um, and for people to be able to come together to do that. That's what really excites me, and that's
Yeah,
what.
and I think you're right. I mean, one of the things that I've certainly noticed is, I'm passionate about, as we've spoken about what you're doing is the UK sound and what is coming from from the UK, because I mean we all do love, like, yeah, the Mavericks, the Hills, all those songs are fantastic, but they're not necessarily, I put it like this. So if local people are writing local songs for the local church, and you could say that nationally as well, for UK churches are writing for UK, so that is when actually you'll see the church, I think, in the UK go to another level in their worship. And the reason for that is because when we think about theology and we're singing theology, what we're trying to do is trying to connect our story with God's story and what it's saying in Scripture. And the issue that you have if we're singing everybody else's song from all over the places, it's very much their revelation. And it may be good theology. So you could say, oh, we could write a song and say, the Lord is good, his love endures forever. And you go, that's great, that's really good theology. But if you put that in the setting of, say, a war-torn part of the world, and then they've got bullets flying at them, they're not necessarily really going to be singing, the Lord is good, the Lord is good. They're going to be wanting to sing something else, maybe something of, the might of God, the battle nature of that, and all the rest of it, and that's them connecting story with the attributes of who God is and bringing that together, and that's what they're singing. They're singing that truth. And what I'd love for, like, UK and local churches to begin to do is to begin to stand up and rise up and write those songs that tell the story of what God is actually doing within their local community. Yes, there are global songs, and we sing those global songs because they're right and they're proper to do it. But if you really want to see a church kind of go to another level within their worship, I believe we've got to be getting to write those those songs collectively as a community of believers, nationally, as we're talking about as well, but locally within local church teams. And actually, if we can inspire some of that and input into some of that, like you're saying, and bring those safe spaces for these kind of issues to come, you know what, I think the future of that could be really, 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 really cool, and right to go for, right to shoot for, to see if we can kind of make a change. Again, not a criticism of anything that we're necessarily seeing now, but just the revelation we have fresh revelation from God in the UK that needs to be sung about. that we currently aren't because we're singing everybody else's.
Mm. Yeah, spot on, mate.
So, is there any? I think we're probably almost about there, my friend. So, it remains for me to kind of say. Let me just bring this up. If I go silent, you're going to. I apologise, but I'm going to bring this slide up for you. There we go. There we go. I went silent for a second, but I'm back on. So one of the things I'd like to say is I'm actually on all these social media platforms with content going out. But here's the thing that I want you to be able to help me with and understand. When we were doing these piano room conversations, sort of way back, they were sticking up on my Facebook page, and they're going up on the Danny Oates King's Chambers page. But what was happening was all of those were getting lost within a big stack of other content that was going on, and people were struggling to find that content. And so what we did was we actually started a YouTube channel with its own name, Piano Rooms Conversations. So all of those interviews and conversations and music that takes place within this are on that YouTube page. So it's it's Piano Rooms Conversations YouTube page. Now here's the thing, because everybody already subscribed to the King's Chambers, I'm able to live stream from there, but I can't live stream from this channel purely because the numbers of subscribers aren't there. So we need 100 subscribers, which unlocks me to be able to go live on the YouTube. So a lot of people are tuning in on Facebook, which is great, and they're coming in and they're clicking, and that's the link, and then they're watching, but then they're going away again. And it would be really helpful that if you like this content and you like what's taking place, that you click the like and the share. And then when we hit that 100, that actually means we can then start to go live again. And what that opens up for all of us to be able to do is to be able to ask questions of our guests, to be able to interact in a more meaningful way. And so if that's you, if you are one of those amazing people that watches but hasn't subscribed, and I know you're there because I can see all the statistics on the back side of the YouTube stuff that we're allowed to see, but I would love for you to like and to share and to get the numbers up, and then who knows, some point next year maybe we can start to go live again on this page like we were on the other page. I just don't want the content to get lost in amongst all the other social media stuff that I may post on those things. So I hope that's okay. We're going to go and listen to one more track, and then we're going to come back to Sam for our closing sentence and statements. This is Noel, which myself and Ella recorded some time ago. So I hope you enjoy this, and then we'll be back with Sam in a moment.
The Savior of humanity, unto us a child is born, he shall reign forevermore. Noel, Noel, come and see what God has done. Noel, Noel,
Ah, there we go. Noel with my precious, I was going to say favourite daughter, but I've only got one, so I can say that, I think. Favourite daughter, Ella, who will be home for Christmas soon. Yay! Loving all that. Sam, it's been an amazing hour, and I think we could probably do far more than we have really, but churning the curd, as it says. We can go all over the place, and at least we've set the scene so people now know your history. So when we come back on again, which we will in 2023, we can dive bigger and deeper into different sort of subjects, because we talk all the time, and I think sometimes if we could talk like we talk on here, a lot of people will get a lot of a lot of hope and inspiration and help with some of the things that we speak about. But if I don't see you before Christmas, which I don't think we will we, unfortunately. Now I think it's a bit close because I'm away this weekend and you're busy as well. But you're going to have an amazing Christmas with your family. But actually, that's really see. This is shows you how bad I am. I'm supposed to be able to advertise things and get things going. So this weekend, this is going out on Thursday, just so you know. Friday night, I'm in Maplethorpe in a little church called Overboard there, and doing a Christmas concert there, and then we go on to Sudbury, and then there's like a collection of churches there that have invited us to do a session there, and then on Sunday night we're all the way up in Doncaster at the Powerhouse Church. If you look at social media, I'll be posting up the times and the dates for that to do it, and at every single session. This bad, oh look, that's a cracked one. I should have shown better quality one. Hey, there we go. This is going to be at the concert. So if you want to avail yourself of that, you can do that. You can also get it on Spotify and other places like that. With my blessings, I hope you enjoy that if you avail yourself of that. So, love you, mate.
No, you too, mate. It's been really good. Really good chat.
Really, really, really good. And we should get back on 2023, like I say, and talk about some amazing things. But guys, it remains for me to say, I want you to stay well, stay safe, and stay blessed. And have yourself a great weekend. And hopefully I'll see you on the road there. And Sam, have a great Christmas and New Year. I hope the weekend goes well for you too. And love you loads. Take care.
Bye.